It's the MOJO Show, episode number 27. Third video edition. That's right, we're coming to you with a new video podcast, bringing you another one of our wonderful MOJO ambassadors this week, Allison Rote. Allison, or Allie as you'll get to know her, is a multitasking, many hat wearing, busy woman who keeps it positive and keeps it real with her teachings that she offers us in the MOJO library. If you're not already a member, you definitely want to join just for Allie and her uplifting classes that fit into a busy schedule. So Allie is actually my co-host this week while Scott is away briefly, so you get two beautiful women for the price of one this week on the MOJO Show. And of course, if you're listening to this on iTunes or Stitcher, you want to head on over to mymojoyoga.com/episode 27 to watch the beautiful video as Allie and I chat about how to stay positive and stay motivated when we have such an overwhelming, busy life full of things that we love to do. So I hope you enjoy this chat with Allison Rote, and I'll be back with you at the end of the show. Oh, welcome to the MOJO Show. I am Jean Marie, and with me this week, I have a very special co-host who looks nothing like Scott Johnson. She is much more attractive and talented and smart and funny and amazing. I'm just kidding, Scott. That's what you get for not being here. You get trash talked.
Wow, Scott, I was not in on that.
With me, I have Allison Rote. That is who you hear if you're listening to this on iTunes or Stitcher. And if you're watching this on the blog this week, we're doing our third video podcast here with Allie. How's it going, Allie?
Hey, what's going on? It's going good. It's going good.
We're coming to you from a wintry Maui day. We're both on Maui, but
it's really cold.
It is really cold, but you can tell by the difference in our attire that I live on the North Shore.
Yes.
Which is a little more cold even still.
Yes, I'm a baby. I live on the west side. West side.
Everybody's going wah wah while they're sitting in their snow and ice.
I know, we're sorry, actually. Yeah, sorry about that.
Oh, cool. Well, I'm so stoked to have you here with me this week, Allie. And before we really get into the show, I just want to tell everybody a little bit of news, just remind everybody about some things. Hi, Eddie.
Hi, Eddie.
Eddie, the chicken killer.
Yeah. Oh.
Eddie, the chicken killer, has just joined us on the show. I do have a little bit of news for everybody. I just want to remind folks to check out the Find Your Mojo Challenge. We're in day 5 of the challenge.
Yes.
And today, day 5, we're doing our January goals. We, at this point, have already worked on, setting our big vision for our lives and worked on some long-term goals. And now we're getting into this month's goals. We're really digging into, setting some action plans for ourselves. So it's a really exciting day. This is actually kind of my favorite part of goal setting. I struggle, I don't know about you, Allie, but I struggle with thinking really long term.
Absolutely.
So when something's near term, I'm like, oh good, I can get a handle on that.
Absolutely. Yes. When you don't take out a little peek out of the big picture and just stay with the littler picture just for that moment, and you can really kind of get some stuff done, which is awesome.
Yeah, awesome. So if you're not already in the Find Your Mojo Challenge, you can still join. Actually, you can join anytime. Just check out mymojoyoga.com/mojo challenge, and you'll have all the ways that you can join us there on that page. And of course, you can also check it out on Instagram and Facebook. We'll be doing daily posts there, and we'll be giving away some awesome prizes at the end of the challenge. The other piece of news I have is that I have mentioned it in the past. I'm sorry if there's a lot of noise going on. I have people helping me out, doing awesome things for me this week, decluttering and throwing things around and taking things away from me. So I am so thankful for what they're doing, but I'm really sorry if it's noisy.
And it's very windy on Maui as well.
It is very windy on Maui.
It's like 35-mile-per-hour winds. It's very windy.
This is real life. We keep it real on the MOJO show.
Yeah.
So the other piece of news I have is I had mentioned a few. Actually, I think I just broke it to you guys in the last episode that I am not teaching my last class on Maui anymore. I already taught my last class on Maui in a studio, I should say. And I'm actually moving to teaching a live class on Periscope on Tuesday mornings. And when this episode airs, Allie and I are recording this super stealthy ahead of time. Yeah. But when this episode airs, my first Periscope class will be live. So check that out on Periscope. We're at My Mojo Yoga. I am terrified for that. And
you're amazing.
I hope it goes well.
It's going to go great. Anything you do, you'll do great.
Oh, thanks. You're so sweet.
Yeah.
So Allison is my co-host this week. Now that we've got all the news out of the way, we can really get into talking with Allie. Allie, to me, I call her Allie. All of her friends call her Allie. So now that she's going to be your best friend this week, you can call her Allie too.
Call me Allie, I'll respond.
There you go. Allie, to me, is the biggest ray of sunshine in our MOJO library. You are just pure sunshine. You make me happy every time that I turn on your class. It always makes me smile. Allie is a mother of two beautiful girls. She is one of the hardest working gals that I know, and she shares her love and her sense of hard work and getting things done through teaching yoga, and she's really cranking up her teaching scene. I know you're teaching a lot more classes these days.
Yes. Lots of classes. It's crazy. When you actually start teaching so much, you can begin to look at people and be like, okay, you need this, and you need to do this, and pull your shoulders on your back. And it's just amazing, just, the learning process and just looking at people and just meeting them day to day is amazing.
Yeah, you have really grown and expanded your practice so much.
Really have.
Your practice and your teaching practice so much in the last year.
Absolutely. It's, it goes hand in hand. So I'm just, following the steps. And if I get up every day and I do it, it just is, it's constant flow, which is so nice to just be able to stay focused on one thing. And it's helping me progress throughout, hopefully my life.
Yeah, you have really progressed. Just as someone who's sort of watched you for a few years, you've progressed tremendously.
Yeah.
So I know that we're all dying to get into learning more about you and what you're doing, but before we do that, I know that as a Maui girl, you are really keen to start throwing some shakas and stink eyes around with me. So,
you know that, sister.
So let's do some shakas and stink eyes. Do you want to go first? Or do you want me to go first?
I'll go first.
Okay, go.
So my shaka this week is I decluttered my house, all my clothes that I've held on to for, I'm not even joking, Jane, 10 years.
Oh my God.
10 years. I know, but I brought it to Maui with me. It was like one of the first clothes that I had. I had like a little bag, and I've always loved that shirt. And finally I was like, I love this shirt, but it's taking up space and I have no room, and I just got all these Christmas gifts and I need some space. So I cleaned everything out and I am so refreshed, honestly. It's let go of some stuff. And I think my stink eye is probably, I did that little bit, but I want to do more, and I always am like, oh, never, I did that, so it's good. And by the time I go back to that, it's already like cluttered again. So I'm staying moving, I'm staying focused, and that's one of mine.
Those are awesome. I definitely give a shaka to decluttering, which is why you
Yeah.
heard someone throwing a bunch of things in a truck in the background earlier. And I don't know if have you ever read The Life-Changing Magic of Tidying Up?
I haven't, but
It's
I
an
should.
awesome book. It's by Marie Kondo, and
Okay.
we actually had an episode about it a few episodes back. I'll link it in the show notes.
Yes.
But I really loved it because it wasn't just about tidying up so much as it was about, tidying up as a tool for creating the lifestyle that you really want to live, for making room for the lifestyle that you want to live in amongst all the sort of junk that we hold on to. So I really embraced that book, and that's what got me into a big decluttering streak too. But I'm with you on the stink eye, because you know what? She says in that book that if you do a big push and you put everything where it's supposed to be, you'll never have to tidy up again. And you know what? That's not true so far.
It's not. Especially with like 2 kids running around, and they're just, by the time I clean one area, I come back, it's messy again. I'm like, how do I win at this?
I read that book, and we did a big push, and we tidied up and put things in places. And then a week later, I said, I must have done it all wrong, because everything's messed up again.
Absolutely.
So I haven't figured that part out yet. If you figure that out, let me know.
Yes, please. Thank you.
So my shaka this week, I love those shakas and stink eyes, by the way. Thank you for that. Shaka bra. My shaka this week is for trying new things that are terrifying. When Scott and I really started to embark on this epic to build this lifestyle that we had dreamed of, I didn't realize how much I would have to be constantly doing things that terrify me. And as a little hermit who would really be happy just kind of sitting on the couch, all day, it really pushes my comfort zone to try new things and do things all the time. But there's obviously a part of me that loves adventure and that loves doing new things, or I wouldn't do it.
Yeah, of course.
Exactly. So, that's why my shaka this week is for trying new things that are terrifying. The most recent example for me is starting a live Periscope class. That is absolutely terrifying.
So huge.
Oh God, I have no idea how I'm gonna make it through this. And I've been trying to work up the courage to do this for like 6 months. So, I'm,
in the words of my mother, she would say, "Just breathe."
I love it. Your mother was amazing.
Yeah.
She always had really simple, beautiful things to say to sort of just let you know that's gonna be okay.
Yeah, it was just simple, and I'd be like, okay. And that's what I do. Even with teaching so much, I've been teaching so much, there's still days I walk in and I'm like, oh, okay, there's a lot of people here. All right, let's get this done. And, it's just, just everybody just like taking that one breath and just being like, all right, and that's, I think, continuing with the year it's going to be amazing if keep going.
Just taking that deep breath and just diving in. When you're terrified of something, you just have to kind of say, okay, let's do this. Because as soon as you do it, you realize that it's not as terrifying as you thought it was going to be.
Exactly.
Inevitably, it's not as terrifying. And so, I love that. Just taking a big deep breath and doing it. That's the biggest thing we can do to get over that stuff. And my stink eye is for how much our fear can hold us back, because really all of that is about fear, right? We can put off something forever just because we're afraid of it.
Yes.
So
I throw a huge stink eye at my fear, even though, the fear is a healthy part of us. Fear keeps us safe. It's there to protect us. So it is a part of us that deserves our, respect and gratitude for keeping us safe. But, we do have to sort of, just keep it in its place.
Yeah, you do. You got to keep pushing forward, or eventually, if you let fear just come over and take in, it's just gonna take over, and you're never gonna do anything.
Exactly.
And it's so rewarding when you do something that you're completely scared of, and you kick ass at it, and you're like, yeah.
I love it. Awesome. So that's Chagas and Stink
That
Eyes.
was a good one. That was a really good one. And I just came up with another one.
Oh, good.
Is I want to, I stopped at people. People were walking in the street. And some days I'm, in the go and I'm hurrying. And I was like, Arch! And I came, my kids got thrown forward, and I was like, oh, sorry kids. But I was like, why am I, not stopping? Those people were going to wait, but I was like, no, we're going to stop. And so, that's my, I stopped for them. And now my stink eye is that I should stop for them, and that I'm going to keep the year going with, just slowing down the pace.
Nice.
I mean, we all do it. We all get in our own zone, and we're just like, you could have stopped, or you could have waved at someone hanging by, and it's just you don't, because you're like, I'm going to the post office,
right.
And so maybe when we get so focused, we're just we just need to relax and just let it go with the flow, and just slow it down, and just be in the present, right?
Yeah, slow down the pace. Absolutely.
Be in the moment. Yeah.
Definitely. I like that a lot. I make fun of Scott a lot, and I like to use the opportunity when he's not here to make fun of him. I make fun of him because he has a pet peeve about people crossing the street not in a crosswalk. Which really cracks me up, because he has so few pet peeves, and he's so just sort of liberal with what he thinks about the world.
Yeah.
But then you see him getting really aggro about somebody not using a crosswalk to cross the street, which on Maui happens a lot. I know in some places it doesn't happen very often, but on Maui we have a lot of tourists, and they're just sort of in awe and walking in the middle of the street. And that, to me, it's fine. I always, like you, I like to take it as a reminder to kind of slow my roll. And, it's all good. People need to cross the street. It's fine.
Yeah.
But, I'm going to give a little stink eye to Scott for his aggro about the crosswalk thing. But you know what? He's gotten better about it. I've been making fun of him so much that he's softened on it a little bit.
Yeah.
It is a safety issue, though, If people are thinking about popping out from behind cars and jumping out in traffic, it's not safe, people. Use a crosswalk.
I'm gonna pull a Scott Johnson. I'm gonna go off on a way other topic here, and go and say, when I'm walking with my kids, I've got one kid in a stroller, one kid on my side, and on Maui, especially on the west side, there's no sidewalks.
No. It's
just two little roads, and you're trying to fit on, and people are just, it's when I'm walking, I'm like, slow down. And then when I'm in my car, I'm like, yeah, woo-hoo.
Yeah.
I guess I'm giving myself a shaka and a stink eye, because I'm both those people.
That's awesome. Yeah, it depends on where we're sitting, what our perspective is oftentimes, right? And I guess that's one of the things I really like about our yoga practice, is that it kind of helps us get out of that really deep ditch of our own perspective, and sort of see how other people see the situation. Yeah. Well, awesome. Thank you for doing shakas and stink eyes with me. That was so rad.
No problem, sister. Yeah. I don't even think I sound local at this point right now. I'm like,
You are hyper local, though. I mean,
kind of. I mean, I guess so. I would say so. Yes.
How long have you been on Maui?
11 years.
11 years. That's long enough.
Yeah. Absolutely.
It's funny. I've been on Maui. I arrived on Maui first the first time 8 years ago, right about now, actually.
Wow.
And I had a year where I went back to the mainland, but then I came back here. And I kind of, it's a funny thing about Maui. Any other place, if you live there that long, you would be like, yeah, you know, I'm a local, like I've lived here forever. But for some reason, there's something about I'm only just now feeling like I really live here.
Absolutely. Yes, I'm right there with you.
Yeah, I feel like such a newbie sometimes. Cool.
Nice.
So let's get into this beautiful woman here in front of me. Let's learn a little bit more about you. I want to know more about you, and I know everybody else wants to know a little bit about you and how you got to the place you're at now. How did you come to be this person you are now?
Oh, wow.
It's a big question.
That's a huge question. I love the build-up, thank you. But that is a huge question. I mean, how did I become who I am now? Well, I mean, if I look back, I would probably say I am this way because my mom taught me to be. But then, you know, I reach out and I'm this way because this is the mom I want to be for my kids. And I don't know. I mean, family is huge to me. You know this. And that's my life. And so all of these wonderful things I do on the side, like have a wonderful interview here with you and go to yoga, and all of that is just on the sideline. You know, my main focus is keeping my family strong and going and thriving and taking them on trips and, you know, and just showing them the life I want them to someday live on. And how I got here, well, I don't know.
Where did you come to Maui from?
I came from Colorado. I was born and raised in Colorado. And it was a beautiful little mountain town. I wouldn't have traded it for the world. You know, I really got to live up in the woods, far, far away, and, you know, experience winter and snowboarding and fires. I miss fires, but
I was just going to say, do you ever miss any of that?
I miss fires. We could probably have a fire up at your house and it would be comfortable.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Because it's cold.
It's like 73, I think.
Yeah, it's really we could roast marshmallows. Yeah. So I came to Maui when I was 17 and with my older sister and just started living life and, you know, working in the restaurant business because, you know, what are you going to do at 17? You know, go to school, but, you know, I was like, I want to go to Maui. So I stayed here and I just worked and started doing yoga and hanging out. I started a family.
How did you get started with yoga? Where did you first get started?
So I had my first daughter, Ella, and I gained 60 pounds.
Wow.
I gained 60 pounds. Don't tell anybody. I was 206 at the peak of my pregnancy. I'm 5'6" and I was 206 and wow. I was a pack house. I was big and I just ate everything. I was pregnant and I was eating for 2 and I was young. I was 21 and I was like, I'm just going to eat what I want and do what I want and eat what I want. So I had Ella and, you know, my mom had gotten me a gym membership and I was like, oh, hint, hint, like, Merry Christmas, go to the gym. And I'm like, God, rude.
How subtle.
Yeah. And so I started going to the gym. You know, she's like, I'll watch the baby because it's so, especially when you have a first child, it's so hard to, like, do anything for yourself because you feel guilty. It's just, you know, it's one of those things. And so I was like, okay, I'll go to the gym. And so I started going to the gym and I started CrossFitting. And I was like this huge CrossFitter for like 3 months.
I did not know this about you.
Yes, I went every day and I would just CrossFit out and I loved it. But I became like a gladiator.
Oh, wow. You and Sarah Crawford should hang out.
I seriously, like packed on like just pure like legs and arms, and I looked like a gladiator, and I was like, oh, I don't know about this. And my sister was getting really into yoga at the time, and she was like, why don't you come to a yoga class? And I'm like, I don't like yoga. I like weights. I like to lift weights and throw things around and run and jump and I don't know, all that crazy stuff. And she's like, well, come to yoga. So I ended up coming to yoga. And the first few times I was like, God, I hate yoga.
What kind of yoga did you do at first?
I think it was just vinyasa. Yeah, she like dragged me to a vinyasa class after I had gone to like CrossFit, and I'm like, I haven't stretched or anything, so I was like defeated. She just like threw me in with the whoops. She's like, look how good I am, and I'm like, oh, okay. Yeah. And so I was like, I'm not into it. And then so I started to go to gentle classes, and I was like, okay, I like it. And then when I started to really get into it, you know, I was doing like, before I knew it, like 20 hours of yoga a week. I was doing like 4 classes, like almost like back to back.
Wow.
So I was just getting into it. I was just loving it. And I was getting into more of my mind and my body, because in CrossFit, if you've done CrossFit, you like are to the point where you don't remember how many WODs you've done. You kind of like lose your mind, you know, you're just running and then you're lifting and you're running and you're just trying to get things done and you're trying to be fast, and it's a crazy workout. But so when I started to go to yoga and realized how much, you know, I controlled my breath and I came into my body and I came into my mind, it was just amazing what I could do and where it started to take me. And before I knew it, you know, the weight just fell off.
Wow.
You know, I just dropped off. I had been trying so hard. I'd been eating right. I'd been CrossFitting, working out. You know what I mean? And I think it was more almost the mental. It was me like, oh, I need to lose this weight. I'm 20, you know, I'm a new mom. My life's not over. I need to, you know, I don't want to be obese. And, you know, this is, you know, what I'm thinking at the time. And then when I finally stepped out of it and I just started to look at my body and connect, you know, my hip to my knee, to my ankle, to my toe, you know, all of that started to just all of that is, and it's same thing. Here I am now with my second child, and yoga helped me. You know, my first birth was hospital, drugs, all of that. You know, my second birth, I found yoga, I got certified, I started teaching, I got pregnant again and had a natural home birth, you know, and just knowing what, you know, yoga taught me to trust my body and know my body knows what to do. And so it just shows, you know, where I'm at today is I just listen to the body, and I just really come into, you know, it's funny just how yoga connects to anything, you know. Now here I am, and we're doing all of this, and it's a lifestyle. It is a lifestyle. And this like journey that you helped me so much with, like social media and keeping it going, because, you know, I do need that reminder. And we're all on our phones, and it's just like, you know, I come back and I'm like, oh yes, let's go, you know, do some yoga and just relax. And, you know, it keeps like the flow. You gotta keep connecting in. And I'm getting lost again. Bring me back. Bring me back.
So, you know, in all of this stuff that you do these days, I want to know, you know, first I want to know who is most important to you, who you admire the most. Okay. And then if they are different, for the second part, I want to know who you study, who you sort of look to for, you know, how to navigate all of these roles that you play in your life.
Well, I'd have to say, you know, my mom is definitely, you know, my foundation, is my past. And I look to myself and I say, okay, well, I'm here now. And then I look at my kids and I'm like, okay, well, this is where we're going to go, because I have to always keep moving forward for them. And so, it's just the past, the present, and the future. And that's really where I'm at, and how I keep things a priority is, we have to keep moving forward.
It's easy now to just kind of get caught up in all the stuff that's going on. I know you mentioned social media and being on our phones, but and I feel like, sometimes our families and the people who are right in front of us get lost in that sometimes.
Yeah, I mean, I think that we just get so focused and on what we're doing, and there's so many days where there's stuff I want to do on, I'm like, I'm gonna go and I'm gonna go to yoga today, to someone else's class, not a class that I'm teaching.
Right.
It's different when you go to someone else's class, because they hit different spots for you than you would typically do for yourself. And then I'll wake up and it'll be like, oh no, I can't, because I got to go take this here, and I got to go do this and this and this. And then I'm like, oh, I just wanted to go to yoga today. Yeah. And so eventually I'll come back to my house and do yoga with the kids. But, it's just, there is priorities, but you have to fit in your stuff too. And it's just as important. And so that's where I really try to keep the balances. I have to do these things for me to be happy. And if I'm happy, then I can do all of these things, and everybody's happy.
Exactly. We have to take care of ourselves if we're going to have any hope of taking care of other people.
Yeah,
right?
And that's, what I think a lot of people, overlook is we want to do, but at the same time, you need to take care of yourself, and you need to look back at yourself. And so whenever I start to get lost in things, I really try to just reflect back on myself and just, okay, you didn't get to do this right now, but we're going to do it later, and, just prioritize and try to keep moving. I always think of that Finding Nemo, just keep swimming, swimming, swim.
I'll link that.
So that's what I try to think in my head when I'm like, oh, I see this to-do list inside my head, and I'm like, all right, let's just see what we can actually cut off this list. And if we don't get it all done today, it's not, detrimental, but eventually, we want to keep working towards it.
Yeah, so. Always keeping priorities. It's part of my morning practice to sort of sit down with the day, with the things that I have laid out for the day, and prioritize. What is most important, and I make sure that I do that first. And try to do the most important things first. I'm not always successful, but I do try to do that. And, I think that, prioritizing ourselves, and of course prioritizing, like you said, the people who are the closest to us, who mean the most to us, is always of utmost importance, because, life is short, and we don't have forever with the people that we love, and we really have to get that time in when we can. And I don't know, I mean, how do you deal, with that? Like your example was, wanting to go to a yoga class, but, your kids need these things and everything gets in the way. What are your strategies that you use? I mean, do you, just come home and do your yoga? How do you take care of yourself when everything else gets in the way like that? So that you're taking care of yourself and taking care of the people who mean the most to you.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I just have to fit it in there too, and just sit back and be like, okay, I wanted to go, like a typical day. Let's just do a rundown really quick. It's like I wake up really early, I get breakfast ready. We take Ella to school. She has to be picked up at 2. And so trying to fit the kids into all of this scheduling and myself is crazy. But, it's just, time management. And, if I only get 30 minutes on the mat, I only get 30 minutes on the mat. But at least I hit 30 minutes.
Right.
And honestly, it comes back to, like, not judging yourself. Because that's kind of where, we start to put the fear in, and the, we start to get upset. Is because we're like, oh, I should have done this much today. Or, I should have done this. And so it's really hard to, just don't judge yourself, come back to it, and, what you got done in that day is what you got done in that day.
Definitely. Yeah, that's huge. I am so guilty of judging myself at the end of the day all the time. just, when, one of my big things, my big goals and dreams, of course, over the years was to get to a point where I was self-employed and I just work on my own and have my own business and have my own schedule. I own 24 hours of my day. And, now that I'm at that point, I'm, finding myself at the end of the day still judging myself for not getting everything done that I wanted to get done, for not being as organized as I wanted to be. So yeah, I agree that that's a constant struggle. And I know that when you have kids, I mean, I can't even imagine.
Well, it's just more of a juggle than, it's just, but, you just you gotta keep going and you gotta just keep that positivity and just, don't be so hard on yourself all the time,
Right.
It's 2016 now. We're going on strong.
I love it. So I want to know some people that you study, that you sort of learn from, that are role models of yours that maybe other people could look to as well.
Role models, I would have to say, are just anyone who can inspire you. It could be the most random person on the street corner that just takes you by surprise or, sends you something, or, you just look at, day to day. It doesn't even have to be someone, of course there's all of these wonderful people to look towards too that are amazing people, but I think you should just really take it into the smaller picture and look around and see what inspires you just within 10 feet.
I love that. It just goes back to not to sort of always looking outside a little too far and maybe missing the things that are right in front of us.
Bring it back in, because it's, you're sitting there and you're looking out and, you still have to get everything you have to do in a day. You are your own person, and yes, all of this is around us, but I think it goes back to, back to frequencies, and just you set your own frequency and wavelengths, and, people are going to feed off of how you react to everything. And so I just try to, be who I am and be Pono, do what is right, and, just live each day with love and happiness.
Nice. Keeping it simple and real.
Keeping it simple.
I love it. I love it. So I want to get into, you mentioned sort of a basic day for you. I want to know, do you have some rituals and routines that keep you on task with your time management, with all the kids and the jobs and the
I really I have to write things down. You know what I mean? I feel like if I write it down, then it keeps me focused, so I can go back and be like, what was I supposed to do? Oh yes. So
you're a to-do lister?
I'm such a to-do lister. Like, I leave a honey to-do list for Peter all the time, which is, he loves them. Let me know. They're like 20 things long. He's like, oh my gosh. But, writing things down is definitely helpful. Every morning, I look at my planner and I'm like, okay, because sometimes, you just get caught up in a moment, and I've almost forgotten yoga classes before, like, especially on Maui. They're like, what day is it? I'm like,
I'm not sure.
Monday?
Yeah.
Like, it's Tuesday. What's the date? I'm like, 2015. So especially on Maui, once again, it's so hard to get lost in time. But definitely checking back, writing things down. I liked, I get up every day. I do the same routine. I drink a cup of hot water and lemon just to get my day started. And
nice.
That just kind of puts me focused. Sometimes I like to just I'll grab the kids and we'll sit on the floor and just relax and just kind of see where we got to go in the day, and just kind of start by just sitting and starting in a relaxing state instead of being like, oh, good morning, you're awake, here, put this on, which is what I want to do.
Right.
So I'm like, okay, everyone, let's sit down. Okay, I'll drink my water. We'll okay, well, you got to do this today. I got to do this. And then we prioritize. Okay, well, you got to pick up your check here. I got to go here. We got to pick Ella up here. I got to fit yoga in sometime here. Let's go to the beach, And so I just think communication is a huge, especially when, you're working with a family or, a partner, communication is key. And if you want to be successful together, you have to have that line of communication.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, I love that. Obviously I'm a big fan of the morning ritual and setting the tone for your day, right?
Yes,
I really believe that the morning time is really kind of your most sacred time.
Absolutely.
It's like the DNA for the rest of the day. It sort of informs how the day is going to grow.
Oh, yeah.
So I love that. I love that little morning ritual with the kids. That's awesome. So what about some of the books or resources that you maybe turn to or use on a daily basis that help you keep this, because you have such a great positive mindset and such a great sort of motivated mindset. Right. A lot of people, I think, struggle with keeping it positive in a healthy way, not shutting out the negative, but keeping it balanced, and with just keeping going every day. So, are there any books or resources you use that maybe people could check out?
I wish that I had more, and this was probably the hardest one for me, is I was sitting here and I was like, 3 books. Oh gosh. I mean, I was like, I honestly haven't sat down and read in a while. And, I always look to Light on Yoga if I have a yoga question, or I always, you'll get my random little text messages and I'm like, Jane, how am I supposed to have my shoulders? And then you're like, hello, let's break this down. Let's see. But, I just got Ganesha Goes to Lunch.
I love that book.
I'm so excited. I had to order it online.
I love it.
I'm very excited to start reading that in my restorative yoga because, I look back on my restorative yoga days and I'm just like, I love those stories. Yeah. I want to teach my kids those stories.
Yeah, those are great stories for adults and kids.
Yes.
About the sort of mythology behind yoga and even some of the poses. So I'll definitely link that on the blog. That's a great book.
Yeah, that book is amazing. And then, I'm going to throw it back old school here, and I'm going to say Dr. Seuss, The Places You'll Go.
I love it.
Awesome. I've been reading that one. I do read books. They're just little books. Kid books. Yeah.
But kids' books have so much profound wisdom in a compact way.
Oh, yeah. And
I like that.
The Places You'll Go is probably one of my favorites. And I think anybody could read that book and be like, okay, yes.
Yeah.
I relate to this.
Yeah, it's funny. I was just listening to the Tim Ferriss podcast, and he had, which is a great one if you don't already listen to that one, add that to your lists.
Yes.
He just had an episode with Derek Sivers, I think was his name. Uh-huh. He's the founder of CD Baby. I don't know if you remember CD Baby. It was this, place to buy music. But it was a fantastic episode, and they were just talking about how much they like to read, but, Derek was talking about how he had a hard time sort of retaining the information in all of these volumes of books that he was reading. He would love it in the moment, but then, say, 2 years later, he couldn't really remember if he had even read it, which I struggle with, too.
Yes.
And he said that he had taken to, just sort of underlining his favorite passages as he was reading. And when he was done with the book, he would go and type up those underlined passages. He'd give himself like an hour to go and just type up those underlined things, those little nuggets of wisdom that he would pull out of a book. And then periodically he'll go back and sort of review it. And he was talking about how, people aren't going to read a, several 100-page book anymore. Like, people just don't have the time and don't have the attention span to do a lot of reading anymore because we have so much other stuff going on. So I love me some Dr. Seuss, and I love things like that. I love kids' books because they are so condensed. Are we getting to see one? Oh, hi, Ember.
Hi.
She is so cute. Hi. Look at you.
You get a dog, I get a baby.
Yeah. So I want to get into, we're in the start of a new year, and I'm sure you guys all know how important goal setting is for me for a new year. I really think it's important to, always at least have some goals that you're working towards, right? To move ourselves forward.
Yes.
I want to know what your biggest goals are for this year.
Oh, that I'll get done.
That you intend to get done and take action on.
For sure, I'm going to declutter my house. That one is huge. I'm gonna, just try to, keep a positive mindset all year. I know, you get halfway through the year, or, back around the holidays, I always get, a little stressed out, and I want to try to go on, at least 3 trips this year.
Nice. So I know that you had, we had a conversation a little while back about how you wanted to really move things forward and be full on with your yoga business.
That is so true. Yeah, of course. And that is something I'm moving forward.
So I'm holding you accountable to that.
Thank you. Because it's so true. That is what I want to do. It's just I let fear get in the way, and I'm like, and I have such a huge load that I just feel like if I never came through or something, I'd be like a failure to my family or something. So I'm like, But yes, I am definitely working towards, teaching more, and definitely, coming into making that a number one priority in my line of work, and, letting go of some other stuff. And that's huge. And that's just 2016 through, the rest of my life. And so that's definitely taking that step. And I know once I take it, I'll definitely be fine. It's just getting over that little leap. So, yep, 2016 is the year. Let's do it.
Yeah, I love it. And, we all need an accountability partner.
We do.
We need somebody who's like, hey, you said you were going to do this.
Yeah,
How's it going?
Yes.
And what can I do to help?
Yes,
That's what an accountability partner does is holds you accountable to what you intended to do, and then of course, does whatever he or she can to help.
Yes, and you are so good about being that. Thank you. You're amazing, yes.
Well, you're definitely an inspiration to me, just with everything that you get done in a single day. It's amazing. You wear so many hats, and I feel like, such a lazy little turd over here in my corner, after I think about everything that you do in a day.
It's just different work.
Indeed, it is. So I know that along the lines of, sort of building out your yoga business, you'll be doing much more with us here on MOJO.
Absolutely.
And And we've got some videos this week for people to check out. On the blog, we're going to feature as our free video of the week one of your beautiful videos that we did on the beach, your Pump It Louder video.
Pump it louder!
Yeah! We want to really help people sort of get pumped in the new year.
And I really love that one, too, because it really just, it's 2016. Let's set some goals to get healthy and really take 2016. And that's a great video to just get pumped up and feel your heartbeat and feel good. So
yeah, and I love that because it's like we were talking about with the kids' books. It's compact. It's a big punch in a compact package.
Yep. We all don't have 2 hours a day, so when you got to get it, you got to get it. And I think it's 30 minutes or even quicker. Little quick that. Yeah.
It's a really quick practice that will definitely get you up and moving and get the energy pumping.
Yeah.
So we're going to feature that for everybody for free on the blog this week. And for our members, for our MOJO members, we have a brand new class from you this week.
Yes, absolutely. It's yoga and massage. We all don't have time to go and get a massage, so this is combining a little bit of massage and yoga and just simple things you can do on yourself, just rubbing your shoulder and just letting go of some of the tension in the muscles. So it's a really great video. Check it out. I'm excited about it. I've been putting a lot of work in towards it, and there'll be much more on MOJO soon. So.
I love it. Love it, love it, love it. That's awesome. So you guys can check out everything that we mentioned in the show, including the free video of the week, and sign up for MOJO and check out that premium video.
If you're not signed up yet, what are you doing?
I don't know.
That's honestly one of my biggest tools is always going back to MOJO and being able to check in. And, when I can't find the time to go to a class, staying home and just putting MOJO on and just following through is just helpful.
That's awesome. That's really good for me to hear. Because that's really our mission with MOJO. We want to make it easier and more accessible for not just people to practice yoga, but also for yoga teachers, to get your stuff out there and to get your teachings out there in front of a global audience.
Absolutely.
So awesome. I love that. Yeah, you guys can check out everything that we've mentioned on the show today and join us as a MOJO member over at mymojoyoga.com/episode 27. Episode 27.
27? Oh my.
Yeah, I know. Can you believe it? So everything will be there on the show notes over there at mymojoyoga.com/episode 27, including the video for this podcast. If you're listening to this on iTunes or Stitcher, you can check out the video there. And more about Allie and how to connect with Allie on MOJO and via her social media channels. We'll have everything linked over there right below this video. Just look below.
Just look down.
Just look down, scroll down. Cool. So, did you have anything else that you wanted to say that we didn't get to?
I think we covered a lot. I guess, just stay focused and stay true and slow down. 2016 is already going to go by so fast, and enjoy and don't judge yourself too hard.
I love it.
Stay in with that one.
Stay positive. And declutter. Stay positive, declutter, and charge ahead. I love it. Yes. Awesome. Well, thank you so much for joining us today on the show, for being my co-host in place of Scott.
Oh, thank you for having me.
Scott will be back next week.
You're very missed, as always.
Oh, I love it. I love it. I am so happy to have you on MOJO, and not just with me on the show, but with us on MOJO and with us on this journey. You're a big inspiration to me, and we'll hear. Thank you. Yeah. We'll hear much more from you over the course of this year. I'm really looking forward to it.
Yes, there's going to be some good stuff this year. I'm very excited.
Awesome. Well, thanks so much, Allie. We will be back next week. Scott will be back, and we'll be back with a new episode for you guys. Until then, keep your MOJO working.
Mahalo.
Peace.
All right, MOJO Mob, that's it for episode 27 of the MOJO Show. Be sure to head on over to the show notes at mymojoyoga.com/episode 27 to check out links to everything that we mentioned in the show. And of course, if you're listening on iTunes or Stitcher, you can check out the video version of this podcast there as well. While you're there, you can also check out Allie's free video of the week, Pump It Louder. This is Allie's beautiful beach yoga practice to help you warm up, get your body moving, and get your energy pumping for this action-packed new year ahead. And it's a short practice that can fit into your busy day with ease. I also want to take a moment to thank our podcast sponsor, Audible.com. Audible is offering you, the MOJO Mob, a free audio book and a 30-day free trial at audibletrial.com/themojo show. You heard Allie mention the wonderful wisdom of Dr. Seuss's Oh, the Places You'll Go, and you can get that audiobook narrated by the incomparable John Lithgow during your 30-day free trial as your free audiobook by visiting audibletrial.com/themojo show, or just click the link in the show notes below. And finally, if you're stoked on the MOJO Show, shout it out in the reviews on iTunes or Stitcher, and subscribe to the show to get every new episode of the MOJO Show in your feed as soon as it becomes available. Or you can always binge listen to any and all episodes of the MOJO Show at mymojoyoga.com/themojo show. Until next time, keep your mojo working.